Well, the president of Kenya has sent in the military after protesters set fire to the country's parliament building. At least 6 people are dead and hundreds are injured amid protests against the country's new tax bill. So for more on this, I want to bring in Barbara Plett Usher from our partners at the BBC. She's in Nairobi. She's been covering the protests for us. Thanks for joining us. Listen, Barbara, I just want to start with this new law that was passed and had lawmakers essentially running for their lives after they passed this tax increase. What is it about this tax increase that is upsetting so many people?
It's because they are quite severe tax increases and there's a cost of living crisis here. Now, the government has a massive debt and it doesn't want to get into more debt to service that. And it's under pressure from international lenders to raise revenue. So that's where the finance bill came from. And they were creative about trying to get as much as they could. And that created a backlash amongst Kenyans, but in particular amongst young Kenyans who organized on social media quite unexpectedly, taking the government by surprise, and then descended on the city, the Nairobi, but other cities in the country already beginning from last week, although it really escalated yesterday.
So, as you know, the government has suggested that part of the reason that we are seeing violence at this level is because of some sort of outside agitators among the protesters. Based on your reporting, what you've seen, is this an organic protest?
It very much is an organic movement, yes. As I said, it's sort of formed on social media. We started with TikTok explainers about the finance bill and what the implications were, and then gravitated to X chat rooms on X, formerly known as Twitter, in which tens of thousands of people participated. This is Gen Z basically getting politically active. So that's very much the impetus. Now, there may have been people who came in from outside who took advantage of this massive protest yesterday. But by and large, it is very much a grassroots movement. And that's part of the problem for President Ruto. He hasn't experienced this kind of opposition before. And so this is an unprecedented situation for him.
So then how has he been responding?
Initially, after the first 2 demonstrations, he came out and said, yes, we hear you, young people. It's good that you're getting democratically active. We want to have a discussion. We want to have a dialogue. After what happened yesterday with protesters storming Parliament and the fire there, and then the security forces responding with live gunfire and killing a number of them, he came out with a very tough line. He said that these protests had been hijacked by criminals. That was those were his words, that these were treasonous actions, and that the military and all resources would be brought in to make sure this didn't happen again. So he basically took the line that there needed to be a crackdown. And we've seen on social media again today saying, well, are we criminals? Or, is he talking about us? Let's go back and demonstrate. So that's the dynamic right now. But you did have quite high numbers of deaths reported from civil society groups. The Kenyan Human Rights Commission says 22 people have been killed in the protests yesterday and in the aftermath.
Well, as you know, Barbara, prior to this, part of the reason why President Ruto was sort of on the world stage is because Kenya had volunteered to lead a contingent of officers to help bring stability to Haiti and bring the gangs into line. And we know that some of those Kenyan police officers have already gone to Haiti. But I gotta wonder, there were critics in Kenya already before Kenya agreed to participate in this. They must be taking advantage of what's happening now. How can you send Kenyan police officers overseas when there's such instability in your own country?
Well, that deployment was because there was quite a lot of pressure for Kenya to step forward to lead the multinational force, and the U.S. in particular was pushing for it to do so and has said, the White House has said many times that it is grateful for that. Having said that, I think the situation in Kenya is different, obviously, than the situation in Haiti. And so those police officers are going to be dealing with criminal gangs, as you said. Here, the security forces were overwhelmed, basically, by this massive outpouring of young civilians. thousands and thousands just flooding Nairobi already from last Tuesday, as I said, but especially yesterday. And so that was a particular security challenge. But yes, you are right. There has been criticism here in Kenya about the deployment. A, saying we have enough security problems here at home. Why are you sending our police overseas? And B, also saying in some quarters, the Kenyan police do have a human rights problem. Should we be sending them to Haiti? And those kinds of arguments, those kinds of criticisms about the human rights issues have been amplified since yesterday because of the injuries and the deaths.
All right. Barbara Plett Usher, thank you so much.